we started the fire.
Yes, the fire rises.
Hello everyone, this is Champion Ugh! Damn it, I can't see a thing in this.
Oh my, has it not been an eventful couple of months for Miss Jenny McDermott? I know what you've been thinking, people. Mitch, how come you haven't been doing any update videos? Well, that's because I've been frightfully out of the loop. Because I've just been doing a lot of reply videos as usual, and I've got an AMA to do next week. And I have a Christmas surprise for everyone. So, I've been busy. I've been really busy with IRL stuff and YouTube stuff. So I can't really, keep one ear, one eye. I'm trying my best, goddammit. And, well, first we're going to start off with simple past events, and then we'll get to more current events soon. So, first I'd just like to say, oh Jenny, you are the gift that keeps on giving. Merry Christmas to you, and may you always lol cow forever. Because if it's one person who is willing to take the beating they deserve after all this that has happened, it's her. Don't worry, I know what you're thinking, but what about the others? Their time will come. They can't escape what they've done. But first, let us all laugh at Jenny McDermott. So what happened first was, I think it was either a couple of months ago or weeks ago, Jenny McDermott's place of work happened to have a fire. And this fire was, quite traumatic for the workers, customers and the owners, and things weren't really rosy. It wasn't as bad as you may think though. But first, let's just see what Jenny has to say about this particular fire.
Hey guys, the day after Thanksgiving my work caught on fire in the kitchen and we were supposed to go back to work right away, but things didn't end up working out like that, and 50 families have been without income from the day after Thanksgiving until possibly the day after Christmas. We're still not sure when we're going to be working again.
Alright, so I know what you're thinking. Mitch, that sounds reasonable. It sounds reasonable. She's a woman who has, had a terrible work accident. The workplace has been ruined by a fire. Her and the workers and everybody else, they're like family, as they later say. And she's not getting paid since Thanksgiving, or at least until Thanksgiving. And they're not getting any money. They're potentially going to starve. They're not going to be able to pay their bills. But first, let's just see what the company has to say about the events that took place and what they're going to do about it. And as we can see here in this newsletter, they say, the Friday after Thanksgiving, we got a call around 8:30 p.m. There had been smoke reported in the restaurant above us. When the fire department arrived, they evacuated the entire building and went on the search for the source of the smoke. The source of the smoke was in the wall that is next to the stove in our restaurant. When the firefighters opened up the wall, what had been smouldering caught flame and set off a sprinkler between our ceiling and the floor of the upstairs restaurant. The emergency personnel did a brilliant and thorough job, as they always do, and no one was hurt in the least. Thank you, SDFD. So there it is. That is the events that took place during the fire. So it kind of adds up with what Jenny was saying. But let's continue. We had been busting our humps and torturing the contractors to try and get open by Tuesday, the 22nd of December. And then, late on Friday afternoon, we learned that there was a gas leak in the building and our hopes came crashing down again. I just got off the phone, and the saints at Emery Plumbing think they can repipe the line as soon as they can get parts early Monday morning. So, again, it seems that they cannot open as early as they possibly could because of a gas leak. Exactly what Jenny said, of course. But things get really interesting. As we see here, when the fire first happened, we thought we'd have shades reopened by December the 1st. The insurance adjusters just shook their heads. You need to prepare to be closed for months. That's what they were telling us. Our response was a simple no. We have 50 employees and they must have work. Many tears were shed when we found out that our insurance policy would actually pay our people while we were closed. Well, the poor farmer's insurance adjuster had to sit helplessly on the other end of the phone while I sobbed with relief. They were all going to have something to tide them over. Our front of the house staff would even get paid for the tips they normally claim. The policy allowed for everyone to have enough to get by, as long as we open soon. However, that's not what Jenny was trying to say there now, was she? She was trying to make out as if the employees were not getting paid, that they needed this GoFundMe campaign. And who was this woman that, created this GoFundMe campaign? Well, that's spoilers, so we'll wait just a little while longer before I reveal said person. But what is interesting that near the end, in fact right at the end of this newsletter, they give us a special note. A special note for those that offered to set up a GoFundMe page for our staff. We can't express how thankful we are for your concern and how very much we appreciate you for respecting our request to not start the page. The majority of our employees would much rather see you in person as soon as we open, rather than take advantage of your generous nature when there are so very many people out there that have so many unmet needs during the holidays. Check out these worthy programs, and they list some charities, and then say thank you for your giving and caring spirits. Now, ain't that interesting? So, despite being against the wishes of the vast majority of a 50-strong restaurant and the owners, a GoFundMe has been set up anyway to help fund people who are being funded anyway. Let's take a look at this GoFundMe now, shall we? Oh wait, we can't, because the original was flagged. Let's see what Jenny McDermott has to say about this GoFundMe campaign.
Just checking in to give you all an update on the GoFundMe. My restaurant is still not open. The servers have had to turn to government aid in order to feed their families. A lot of them aren't able to celebrate Christmas, and some haven't even paid rent from last month. So we're thinking that the restaurant may open the day after Christmas, but that's just speculation. We have no idea still, and some of us are completely broke, about to run out of food, etc.
Let me just interject here for one moment. She's still peddling this narrative that nobody can pay their bills, nobody can buy food, they're starving, they're broke, and they're going to get coal for Christmas. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Yet, we have evidence that suggests otherwise, that the insurance policy is paying these people the tips that they would have got, and they do have funds that will help pay their rent until the restaurant can get back on its feet. So already she's lying. Again, doubling down on it, despite evidence to the contrary. Let us continue, shall we? Carry on, Jenny.
So that was the point of this GoFundMe. I work at a restaurant in Ocean Beach. Most of you know this. For some reason, the site, the original GoFundMe, was flagged by cyberbullies who deemed it fraudulent. So yeah, enjoy your lumps of coal this year, guys.
So she starts a GoFundMe that nobody wanted, and this has been reported quite rightly for the fraud that it is, yet she is claiming that she was banned off of GoFundMe, or rather had it removed as such. Shamefully, she was not banned. This was done by cyberbullies, the people who did the right thing, who reported a fraudulent GoFundMe, which was only used for her coffers, for her own selfish reasons, are cyberbullies. That they did this to hurt her, to hurt these people. Doesn't it sound familiar? Doesn't it sound a bit like Laughing Witch? Just you wait until you see more. Now, let us continue, and you will see who started this GoFundMe.
So basically, I started a new GoFundMe. If you're interested, you can donate in the link below. If you can't, it's totally understandable, and I am so thankful for all your kind thoughts, everyone. So just to let you know, I have started this GoFundMe. I have told all the wait staff that I will distribute evenly any funds that we get. I'm not going to be keeping all of it for myself by any means. I wouldn't do anything like that. And yeah, that's basically it. So if you guys are interested, link is below. Thank you again for all of your support, and happy holidays, everyone.
So she claims that she is the one that made this GoFundMe, and it wasn't the other person who did the other one. We'll get into that shortly, but isn't it funny that we just have to rely on her good word that she is going to give the money to her employees, and that she's told them about it, and that she's going to share the money, etc, etc. We just have to rely on her good word. Well, I for one don't buy that. Do you buy that? But first, let's just see the original GoFundMe before it was taken down by the website, shall we? But oh wait, we can't, because nobody archived the original. But I do have information about it that I think you all should know. Basically, this was created by a person by the name of Lisa Weaver. Lisa Weaver. Now, we don't know who Lisa Weaver is. We do not know what she looks like. We don't know if she even works at Shades, which is the restaurant. We do not know. For all we know, and from the evidence that we have gathered over the course of the few weeks, we can safely say that is most likely definitely a pseudonym by Jenny McDermott. Because let's just have a look at this, shall we? In it, we see a screenshot that she has posted on Twitter, basically attacking those evil cyber bullies, and basically this calls into question whether or not Lisa Weaver actually exists. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. But here we go. Let's just read this tweet. Wow, thanks guys. I'll be sure and share this with the families collecting food stamps. So she's still going with the narrative right now. Dear GoFundMe customer, the screenshot says, we're reaching out to inform you that there have been complaints regarding the authenticity of your campaign located at www.gofundme.com, blah 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 blah. Because of this, your campaign has been suspended. This means that your campaign link is inactive and can only be viewed by you. We have found that most complaints result from the campaign not being clear about the following items. 1. Who are you? 2. How are you related to them? So we are expected to believe that another person in the company formed this GoFundMe campaign, and we're just expected to believe that because it's Jenny's word. Really? Because you can only get this kind of message if you are the one who created the campaign in the first place. But then we go to another tweet for those who are questioning me and saying, but Mitch, surely it is Lisa sending Jenny the screenshot and she's just showing it to the world. Well, okay, let's just have a look at this. As we can see here, following the second one that was made, and we'll be looking at that in a minute, Lisa Weaver donates $10. Now, you can totally donate to a GoFundMe with your own funds. So I reckon you can do that at all. It never says in the terms of service that you can't do it. I would say, look, Jenny got this email and she's posting it. She never said that Lisa sent it her. She just sends it out on Twitter as if she was the one who made the campaign in the first place. And then all of a sudden, Lisa Weaver donates $10. And then an anonymous person donates $25. So it tells me that the GoFundMe was getting nothing for ages. And then Lisa Weaver and Anonymous turn up and altogether raises $35 for Jenny McDermott. So let's take a look at this GoFundMe. Now this one I think was almost taken down, but instead something happened to it which we'll discuss later on. And here we are. We can see here that it's a GoFundMe campaign created by Jenny, telling the truth there. This one, at least we know for sure, is 100% created by Jenny McDermott rather than 99%. And so far, at this moment in time, it only has $10, but there are more screenshots here of them raising the money as it goes along. And it says here, hi everyone, a restaurant called Shades in Ocean Beach closed down due to a kitchen fire that took place on November the 26th. The owners have been pushing to get the place up and running as best as they can, and they're able to pay a very small portion of the waitress's staff salary through their insurance in the meantime. But unfortunately, families are having to turn to government assistance to make ends meet, are unable to pay rent. So basically, despite the fact that this insurance actually covers their wages and the tips that they would be receiving, they still have to go for government funding. It's interesting that she adds this little tidbit that wasn't there in the original, and their families will be unable to celebrate Christmas as a result. Aww, isn't that a shame? Any small donation that can be given to ensure that these families are able to give a little something to their children this year, or even fill their fridges, would be great. All funds will be distributed evenly among the waitstaff. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. Now, how much does she expect to donate to these people exactly? $15,000, people. $15,000. It's only 10,000 less than Laughing Witches, funnily enough. But here we go. 15k for about 50 employees. Isn't that interesting, people? Isn't that interesting? Now, I said 50 employees, that's what they said in the booklet, but as we know, the facts are constantly changing in this story, but we'll get to that in a little while. But this GoFundMe begins to pick up steam. In fact, it gained such a little bit of steam that the king of cooks himself, Steve Shives, decided to weigh in and give her a bit of publicity.
Now, before I go, there are a few more things I want to talk to you about. Last week on my You Had to Ask video, or not last week, the week before last, I suppose I should say, since this will be up on Monday, I asked a lot of you guys to go to the YouTube channel of Liz Reptile and watch her video about the struggles that she's been having financially, and to help her out if possible so she can pay some bills and have a nice Christmas for her kids and her family. And you guys, some of you were able to do that and were willing to do that and donated to her cause. And I have heard from Liz personally that a lot of the help she received came from people who heard about her story through me, either through that video or through me tweeting it or talking about it on Facebook. So I just want to thank you guys who helped out Liz Reptile. I also want to share another fundraiser type of thing with you guys. Christmas is the season of giving. If you have something to give and you're looking for a place to give it, my friend Jenny McDermott, who a lot of you know, who some of you like and some of you hate, I understand. She's a very divisive figure, but Jenny is someone who is a friend of mine who has always been nice to me and always been good to me. And unfortunately, her workplace was terribly damaged in a fire last month. And because of the damage and because of the loss of business, much of the staff of the restaurant where she works has had to be laid off. And Jenny has started a GoFundMe page to raise money to sort of help raise some supplemental funds for the members of staff for the restaurant that have been put out of work as a result of this fire. So I'm going to link that as well.
Well-known Jenny McDermott supporter Bunsen's Boinkle joins in and donates $50, saying, "Hi Jenny, I hope all goes well and the restaurant reopens soon. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, SJW. Get it right." And then, lo and behold, Jennifer Keller raises $100 for her little friend, Jennifer McDermott. Laughing Witch is Jennifer Keller, by the way, people. I thought you were going bankrupt, Jenny, yet here you are, donating $100 to Jennifer McDermott's GoFundMe campaign. My. And by the end of that, they had reached $345, raised by 8 people in 21 hours. And to celebrate this, Jenny McDermott decides to go a little bit weird and quote Stephen King in Doctor Sleep. There was a dangerous dog inside his head. Sober, he could keep it on a leash. Which says more about her than it does about us. And then she says, "Thank you all so much for the GoFundMe donations so far. You all rock," and links it. And of course, there's not much there. So let's move on. Eventually, in one day, it raises $750, all by 13 people. That's in a day. A terrible, slow ascent to 15k, but nonetheless, they are on their goal. They're going to reach it at some point in the near future, maybe a couple of months down the line. But then things start to get a little bit interesting. Jenny McDermott decides that she's going to write a quick update and decides to say who she's donating to. Also, she says, if you're curious about distribution of funds, Lisa Weaver, aka Jenny McDermott, who is working on this with me, is going to compile a list for me to ensure that everyone gets an even amount of cash in an envelope. When we go back to work, we will give these envelopes to employees. We are only funding servers and bartenders because kitchen staff are receiving their regular pay while off, while the servers and bartenders are seeing a dramatic drop in income. Now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because that's not what the little newsletter said. They didn't specify who was getting all this help and to what extent. So I call bullshit on that right away. There's no way you would treat one group of staff different to the other after such a horrible accident, now would you? And then she lists all these people here: Sean, Mike, Brian, Ryan, Cassandra, Joaquin, her, Lisa, Casey, Jimmy, Sandy, Crystal, Karen, and Grecia, doesn't matter. Remember, 50 employees. This is way shorter than 50 employees now, isn't it? I smell bullshit. So, here we are now, $750 raised. Everything seems to be going well for Jenny now, doesn't it? The GoFundMe is doing not very well, but people are donating. And who knows, maybe there would be more. But the thing is, by the time you see this little screenshot that I showed before, that was in 3 days. Terrible rise. Nobody else is donating because most people know that this is bullshit. Most people know this is bullshit. And it was only a matter of time before the charade fell and Jenny was caught with her pants down. But just before we get to that, I know I'm teasing you people. Remember when she mentioned that they're going to pay them in cash? Well, let's see what Jenny has to say about that, and then we'll just dissect this. This, to me, seems rather bullshit once I explain it.
Hi guys, just want to let you know that the last day of the GoFundMe is going to be this Wednesday. So I'm going to shut it down this Wednesday. I'm going to get the funds from GoFundMe and split it among the employees in cash, and I'm going to go drive over to their houses and drop it off. So that they have a little extra money to spend on their Christmas or put in their fridge or whatever they may need it for.
A little bit of spare cash so they can use it to put it in their fridge or whatever. Seriously? People, before then she was waxing lyrical about how these people were under threat of financial turmoil and that they would starve and they won't be able to pay their bills, but now they just need a little extra money to buy food and presents. Seriously? Seriously, Jenny? If anything, that is an admission of guilt, that this is nothing but a fraud, and that she needs a little bit of that money. She could at least be honest, you know? I'm sure more people would donate if she said, yeah, I want some money for my channel or something. Why can't she just do that? It's not difficult. A little bit of spare cash so they can use it to put it in their fridge or whatever. Seriously? People, before then she was waxing lyrical about how these people were under threat of financial turmoil and that they would starve and they won't be able to pay their bills, but now they just need a little extra money to buy food and presents. Seriously? Seriously, Jenny? If anything, that is an admission of guilt, that this is nothing but a fraud, and that she needs a little bit of that money. She could at least be honest, you know? I'm sure more people would donate if she said, yeah, I want some money for my channel or something. Why can't she just do that? It's not difficult, because as this user Spectator says on Kiwi Farms, this could very well affect her place of employment's insurance claim. And Spectator says it as follows. Yes, since the claim is including at least a portion of employee wages, any income specifically for the fire would mess up the insurance formula. Furthermore, the business is not a 501c3 non-profit corporation. There is added implications on being taxed for income brought in through GoFundMe. Asking people not to donate will most likely result in far more money in insurance payout than what would be raised. The company is literally trying to avoid looking fraudulent with the insurance company and IRS. Good work, Jenny. Edit. GoFundMe TOS clearly states they will give you up to the feds. Now let's have a look at that, shall we? As we can see here, it says, "We reserve the right to provide information relating to your campaign with donors and beneficiaries of your campaign, and with law enforcement, or to assist in any investigation." Well, Jenny. It seems that you are basically making everything worse for your, as I should actually correct myself, former place of employment now, haven't you? And it gets even worse than this, because apart from clearly making a fraudulent GoFundMe campaign that is actually causing harm to your own bloody company that you work for, you've also not been very honest with the IRS, have you? Now, sadly, we do not know what question was posed to her, as Jenny blocked it from view, so we can't really see it, but we can see her reply. And this is what she says. "No, they didn't ask me not to. They asked what we clarified that they weren't the ones starting a GoFundMe and that we were. Waitresses only claim a certain portion of their tips. They make very small paychecks based on the tips that they do claim. So when the insurance goes to pay us, we are getting only what they can see was claimed. Tips and hourly can be up to $4,000 a month. It seems like a lot, but my rent is $1,200 and that is really low for where I live. So we end up only making about $1,000 in the whole month with this insurance money. I'm not doing anything scandalous. I'm trying to help people that need it." Now, for those of you who don't quite understand this, I'm going to go to another Kiwi Farms user, Munster Cheese, and he will explain it for you, and me too. And he says, "And how does that math work out? Tips and hourly can be up to $4,000 a month, but would only be taking in $1,000 for the month with the insurance payout. So does that mean she's cheating on her taxes to the tune of $3,000 per month? Also, 4K times 12 months equals 48K a year. That isn't too shabby. I know she talks about rent being high at $1,200 a month, but if she was really hard on cash, she could find a cheaper place to live farther away from the beach and get a roommate just like the rest of humanity." Edit. $2,000 understated income per month times 12 months times 9 years of employment at that location, that would be one hell of a past due tax bill. Hell, if she were reporting income of $12,000 per year, she would be getting awesome credits on her taxes. And of course, as he says before, oh shit, she's just fully admitted to cheating on her taxes in one of the most difficult areas for the IRS to prove. My, Jenny. My. You just have to make everything worse for you. But I think we are now finally edging close to the end of this saga. At least this part of the saga. The saga of Jenny always continues. She is now a full-on lol cow after all. So, let us go to the biggest lol of this here event. Remember when I said that Jenny now has a former place of employment? Well, that's because of this little ditty right here that I'm going to show you right now. In this little newsletter, another update for the restaurant, they talk about someone being fired. And they say as follows: "A disappointing and sad note. One of our employees chose to open a GoFundMe page on behalf of the Shade staff. She did so without the permission or acquiescence of the named employees. The premise was that the staff was in serious financial jeopardy because of the fire closure and they needed the donations to make up for their lost income. The problem is that all employees are being paid their full hourly rate for their normally scheduled shifts as if we were open, including full payment of their claimed tips. I can tell you, being given their tips as well as wages had me in tears of gratitude and relief for these good, hard-working people. They were gonna be okay. The damage won't endanger them or their families. Thank you, Farmers Insurance." Obviously, you can see how the GoFundMe page is at the least misleading, and at the worst, deceitful and fraudulent. And while we are powerless to stop her actions, we did tell her explicitly to not start the page on that basis alone. She did it anyway, and refused to make it truthful and accurate or to take it down. Sadly, she was let go this morning. The staff have asked me to let you know this wasn't them, they didn't participate, and they do not approve. Each and every one of them wanted donations to go to those that are truly needy at this time of year, and they link a charity. I am sorry to have taken time and given voice to this situation. However, the volume of emails, phone calls and social media posts that have been flooding in made it necessary to explain the staff's position. Thank you so much for your time, your understanding and your generous souls. Oh, Jenny, Jenny, Jenny. Well, of course, it doesn't end there, because then her GoFundMe had another update, and she just turns on the salt, and it gets funny. And she says this: "Thank you for everyone for your support. Unfortunately, the owner of the establishment had never heard of GoFundMe before and thought it was only for cancer patients. She got scared that her taxes could be audited for not making employees claim all of their tips over the past 13 years. So she fired me and made employees who are scared and poor and have been out of work for a month sign a sheet basically saying that they didn't know about the campaign before I started it. I have texts showing that employees were very thankful." Well, Jenny, let me just go back a bit. You said that this company, this restaurant, was like a family. You were all like family. You loved each other. It was a family business, as you say. Yet here you are, making this owner out as if she's some kind of evil dictator and that everyone's scared of her and that she's trying to basically manipulate people and fire you because you're Jenny McDermott, that's why, and that she's scared that you being fraudulent and not claiming your taxes as you should be is making her this horrible dictator. Right. And also, show us these texts. Name redact all the people sending you these texts and show us them. Oh no, wait. You don't have evidence, you don't have texts, because these people did not ask for this shit. They didn't. I'm sorry, but if I was to trust either a restaurant or Jenny McDermott, the restaurant being the restaurant owner, of course, I'd rather trust the restaurant owner because you have a 100% track record of lying. She also insinuated, that she continues, that if any of her employees took donations from me, that they would also be fired. I told her I am willing to take her to court over firing me falsely, and I contacted a lawyer. I also recorded the conversation between us, where she clearly states that she is firing me for starting a GoFundMe campaign, and not for anything to do with my performance or behaviour at work. Again, you all have huge warm hearts, and we are the people that needs to be more of in the world. Oh, but it continues. I'm not quite finished laughing. Not these nefarious types that don't understand good deeds. Oh, Jenny. Jenny, you were fired precisely because of the GoFundMe page. You have basically endangered their insurance returns. The insurance are paying all these wages. And this GoFundMe is putting that in jeopardy. I've already explained it before. That's why they fired you. They also fired you because you disobeyed orders. You have disobeyed orders. And you pay the price for this. Also, yeah, it is exactly maybe because of your taxes. And because this GoFundMe is fraudulent. You are a liability. You have made the company look bad. You made the restaurant fall into disrepute because of your actions, but because you're Jenny McDermott and you're not very intelligent, you don't get that. It would be like me randomly going up to a person at my place of work, but you know where I work because you try to spread it to everyone, and punch them in the face and then claim, oh, they attacked me, when it was me who attacked them. I have put my work in disrepute and I have to be sacked. And that is what has happened to you. Deal with it. To clarify with everyone, I had a conversation over the phone with the owner the night the GoFundMe was made, and she said that she couldn't really stop us from doing it if it was something we wanted, but wanted to be sure that it was clear the establishment itself was not beginning the GoFundMe. Yes, she said that in the thing. She's pretty much said almost all of this apart from the bullshit that you spewed. She said that she can't stop you making the GoFundMe, but she can fire you for making it. Because you do realise that actions have consequences. Right, Jenny? I thought this was made clear by me in the comments, but apparently reading and knowing about internet things aren't really her strong suits. No, you lied in it. You may not have said that the establishment made them, but you were making it for them. You were saying that these employees needed this GoFundMe campaign, that you talked to them, and you said that they were going to accept this money, the employees, when they didn't at all. You are lying there still. I have had an awful experience working with these people over the past 10 years. These people that say that I am a fraud have sexually harassed me, yelled and cussed at me and demeaned me in any way possible. The abuse has been so terrible that all the employees are nervous wrecks at work and are vulnerable to any childish tantrum that these people may throw at any time. The owner, a woman approaching 50, works the floor to make extra money. Money that her employees should be making. Wow! Seriously? This is why people like her give actual victims of harassment, abuse, etc., a bad name. Because before that, everything was rosy. Before she was caught in the act and was fired, now the company and the people who work for that company are evil, they're horrible, they sexually harassed her, they abused her, they yelled at her, they cussed at her, did everything to make her life miserable for 10 years. She could have left after a couple, but she stayed. So I call bullshit on this, because on the one hand, barely a couple of days before, you were saying that you're a family, you love each other, you work well together, but now it's a hellhole. It's like Gordon Ramsay's kitchen nightmares. Seriously? You expect us to believe that after what you said before, Jenny? And especially since you've used sexual harassment and abuse before to excuse your behaviour and to blame other people. I mean, didn't that happen to Oz and Justin Templar? You did it to them, didn't you? Oh, I don't know what could be wrong about that. Oh, and so what if your boss wants to make some extra money? It's her business. She can do so. She's the boss. She makes more than you by the rules of the society in which we live in. But let's continue, people. She works Saturday and Sunday morning shifts, making more than $200 per shift, and leaves nothing to the cooks that's non-stop cook without breaks in a 90-degree kitchen. Oh sure, citation needed. They are able to keep employees with their abuse for many years. Really? How? They could just quit and go to another restaurant or get another job. Or go and live with their parents while they search for jobs. Most of the long-time employees go to work, make cash and leave and hate the people that employ them. Most, all. That place is literal hell. Oh yeah, and tamales, poached eggs and oatmeal are microwaved. Right, sure. Whatever. It's your word against theirs, Jenny. It's your word against theirs. And we all know that you are lying out of your teeth because you've been caught in the act and you've been fired. So, just stop lying for once, Jenny. Stop lying. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with us, okay? You lied, you got caught, your scam has now been exposed to the world, and now you're double downing and you're just trying to create excuses for yourself. This is what children do, not 32-year-olds. I mean, just to add insult to injury, you only went and pulled a laughing witch by basically creating a review on their Yelp page, giving it 5 stars. 3 years ago, saying, Shade has the most delicious breakfast in all of Ocean Beach, but make sure you stop for dinner. They have spaghetti squash entree that is to die for. Oh wow. Well bloody done. Well bloody done, Jenny. Well done. And I guess that's it for now, people. The saga will continue. But these are the most important events that have happened recently. I'm sure that the doxing saga will create even more buzz as soon as Oz releases his reply to Jenny. I will continue to try and keep up with all this bullshit. I will try and watch out for the others. So Boo or the Date, Pony Boy, John Horse. They're the same people, by the way. Laughing Witch, etc. And I will expose them as the way I usually do, by working in tandem with others and helping bring their information to a wider audience. So until next time, I'll see you all later.